Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty?
Hello and welcome to the third session of the 2024 Astrophotography Prize event. We're thrilled to have you here with us from all across the world, and we're going to celebrate some incredible photography today as we look at the finalists in the deep space category. So I'm Robyn Campbell, I'm the competition coordinator, and I'm basically the person that makes sure things run smoothly in the background. So thank you everyone for changing links to be with us today. I'd also like to welcome our two incredible tech peoples, Laurent Lamedy, who's doing our live stream and making us all look so good, and Daniel Bingham, who is our software expert. So he's the one that's allowed everybody to enter and for us to be able to judge all of your images. So before we begin, we are broadcasting from Australia, and we have a custom that is performed at the beginning of meetings that bring people together. It's called the Acknowledgement of Country. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which this event is hosted today. We pay our respects for their elders, past, present, and emerging. We also recognise the rich and enduring knowledge of the skies of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Long before Western astronomy, Aboriginal ancestors studied the stars, gave names to celestial bodies, and used them to interpret star maps, song lines, and their understanding of the night sky, passed down through generations, remains an integral part of Australia's cultural heritage. We honour their deep connection to the sky. Now, this event would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors. So we would like to extend our gratitude to each of them. We have an overall sponsor who is basically covering our event and live stream, and that is NEAC. So NEAC is the Northeast Astro Imaging Conference. It's being held next year from April 7th and 8th in New York. So grab your tickets. It's going to be amazing. It runs over 2 days, 28 talks, 15 presenters, including our amazing Wolfgang Promper, who is here with us today and presenting. So I'm sure you will fall in love with his presentation, and you can see more of him at NEAC. There's also workshops, equipment showcases, vendor exhibits, and door prizes. So check that out. The link is on our website. We'd also like to thank Stellarvue, who are our grand sponsor for our Astrophotographer of the Year. Stellarvue have kindly given us an SVX 102T telescope, which is worth over 3,000 USD. Beautiful telescope to use. They're based in California, and their details are also on the website, so check them out. Today we are judging the deep space category. So we have been generously supported by Sidereal Trading, as well as CFF Telescope. Sidereal Trading have been with us since our very first competition. We love everything they do. They're based in Melbourne, but travel all around to install incredible equipment. I know some of our judges on the panel have actually personally had the guys from Sidereal come over and give them a hand putting together observatories and mounts and all kinds of things. So they are generously donating as our first prize today the QHY 367C full frame cooled CMOS color camera. So that's valued at over 4,000 USD. It's an incredible prize. It is full frame, 35 millimeter format, 36 megapixel. It offers true raw image input and produces an image that is quite extraordinary. So good luck to all the entrants. It's a pretty good prize to win. I hope that you enjoy the rush of hopefully getting up onto the winner's podium. Our second prize is sponsored by Chroma Technology, and that is a voucher towards a astronomy filter set, which is valued over 1,000 USD. And Chroma Technology manufacture the highest quality broadband and narrowband spectral line filters for detecting ionized sulfur, oxygen, H-alpha or H-beta and other elements. So that is another great prize. And finally, our third place winner receives a $200 voucher from Astrography to get their images printed or otherwise. Astrography have also generously offered to donate a couple of prizes to the best Q&A question. So hang around for Wolfgang's talk. Pop your questions in the YouTube comments, and you could be in line to win that prize as well, which is pretty cool. So now I get to introduce you to our esteemed judges from all over the world. We are so honored to have you all here. Your expertise is just so appreciated. I'll start with Wolfgang. So Wolfgang Promper, born in 1962. In early years, he was from here in Australia. How cool is that? He came from Wodonga, and then is now back in Austria. So former professional musician turned astrophotographer. 30 years experiencing in astro imaging from backyard setups to remote observatories. He focuses on image processing philosophy. And Wolfgang, we are so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very honored to be a judge here. It's a beautiful event, and I'm really looking forward to what we see today.
Fantastic. Thanks, Wolfgang. We also have Strongman and Mike Sidonio. So Mike is here from Canberra, Australia as well, known as Strongman Mike because of his background in strength athletics and amateur astronomy. Mike, we've got some muscles coming in from earlier. Yep, cool, awesome. He's worked at the Canberra Observatory when he retired from being a strongman competition in 2005 to focus on astronomy. He has discovered a galaxy 11 million light years away and constructed Australia's highest astronomical observatory. It is stunning. It is beautiful. It is probably quite cold this time of year. How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I'm not up there at the moment. I'm down in very low Canberra.
Defrosting for a little while, hey?
That's it.
Next up, we have Rogelio. So Rogelio Bernal Andrea from San Francisco, USA, world-renowned astrophotographer and night photographer. He describes himself as a deep sky seeker, explorer, and creator. He's received numerous awards with images featured in international publications, museums, TV networks, with over 80 NASA APOD selections. Whew, that's huge. Welcome, Rogelio.
Hello, how are you? I'm very happy to be here. Let's get this rolling.
He's keen to get into the images. He has seen some in preview. They are amazing. Next up, we have Dr. Tanya Hill. So Dr. Tanya Hill is from here in Melbourne, Australia. She develops award-winning planetarium shows for the Melbourne Planetarium. Her research background is in extragalactic astronomy, including supermassive black holes. She's an honorary fellow of the University of Melbourne and the Astronomical Society of Australia. She's the Australian representative for the European Southern Observatory Science Outreach Network. She's our local astrophysicist who will be filling us in on all things technical style. Welcome, Tanya.
Oh, look, it's great to be here. I think we're going to have an amazing morning seeing some incredible images. So I agree. Let's go for it.
Woo! And last but by no means least is the absolute legend, Bray Falls. Welcome, Bray, from Texas, USA. Full-time astrophotographer, he runs Starfront observatories with the remote telescopes in Texas. He consults and teaches private astrophotography courses and workshops, so look him up. He's got over 500,000 Instagram followers, whew, and over 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Man, you are popular. He's an accomplished astrophotographer with several apods and discoveries of new deep sky objects. Welcome, Bray.
Hey, thanks. Hope you all are doing well. I'm honored to be here, and I'm excited to get to see all these beautiful images.
Absolutely. So good to have you here. All right. So last but not least, I will introduce you to our panel mentor, Andy Campbell. So Andy Campbell, also my husband, is the competition director. He is the one who has taken this competition on board and making sure everything goes smoothly in terms of entries and so forth. He's a renowned astrophotographer in his own right. He's a grandmaster of the former AIPP and fellow of the New Zealand Institute of Professional Photography. He's the winner of the Deep Sky section of the David Malin Awards and 4 times shortlisted for the Royal Greenwich Observatory International Astronomer of the Year. He's twice Australian Science Photographer of the Year. He's won numerous APOD NASA features, and he will be guiding and leading our discussions. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, everyone. Delighted that you're all here. Looking forward to getting into some judging, and hope you can benefit from the wisdom that the panel will produce today.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. All right, so it's pretty much time to kick off the judging. We're going to start, though, with a preview. So we're going to run through all of the images, and you'll be able to see them one by one. This is mostly for the viewers at home, so you can see if and when your image is coming up, so you know when to expect it. So here we go. Fantastic. So we're going to head into the judging now. I'm going to pass you over to Andy Campbell. For those at home, if you're wondering why there's 26 images, we had a tie for 25th and 26th place, so we've included them both in our pre-judging. All right. Without further ado, I will hand it over to you, Andy.
All righty. Thanks very much, folks. Let's have the first image. All right. So the entry statement. This is the eyes of Corona Australis. It's the location this was taken from is Swan Reach in Australia, and it was taken on a Takahashi FSQ 106 with an ASI ZWO 2600 MC camera. There's a total of 54.3 hours of exposure here, and I should mention to all of the live stream audience that the judges have all the technical details of these images at their fingertips, and they also have the ability to zoom, click, and pixel peep every image in high resolution at 100%. Judges, if I could ask you to score this one, please. Judges will be scoring each image out of a possible 100 points. We will average that score, which I will announce, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, boom, we're off to a great start. This image scores 90. We have a gold award straight up. Boom. Congratulations to the entrant. As the scoring is so, I guess, like-minded on this one, let's call for a comment on this image. Mike Sidonio, this is from your part of the Southern Hemisphere. Can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I think for me, this particular image, it's of an object that's very well imaged. Lots of people like to take a photo for a very good reason. It's absolutely beautiful. But I think the orientation of this image is unique. I like the way it comes down from the top, like a descending storm. I love the way the hydrogen alpha has been incorporated. It's something you don't often see in images of this particular nebula. The dust looks like dust, which is really important in such areas when you're imaging this sort of area of the sky. And I really like the way the hydrogen alphas come out in that far top left corner. And good resolution. It's a lovely image.
Congratulations to the entrant. Thanks so much, Mike, for your feedback there. Let's go to the next image, please. So LDN 1622 is roughly 500 light years away from Earth in the Orion constellation. The goal was to create a three-dimensional scene. The image was taken from Observatorio El Source in Chile. Equipment used was a Takahashi FSQ 106 with a reducer and an ASI 6200 camera, 26.4 hours of exposure time. Could we have your scores, please, judges? Boom again. Second gold award in a row, folks. It's a gold rush. This image scores a very solid 90. And I'd like to hear from a comment on this one, if that's okay, from Bray Falls. Bray, take it away.
Yeah, so this is a lovely image. Star colors are great. The way the hydrogen alpha is composed with the dark nebula itself is also very lovely. The 3D feel that he was going for with the dark dust itself, I definitely get the 3D vibe. It's just a wonderful dynamic image overall. And yeah, I thought it was very lovely.
Congratulations to the entrant. Thanks so much, Bray. I believe that's popularly known as the Boogeyman Nebula, this one, for reasons, I guess, because when you're getting close to it, it has a spooky spectral shape. Let's go to the next image, please. The entrance statement is, I tried to visualize as much detail as possible from SH291, including the very faint cosmic dust in LRGB, which after 14 hours is barely visible. The location is Starfront Observatories in Rockwood, Texas, USA. The equipment used is a Skywatcher Esprit 100 ED, a ZWO ASI 2600 Pro, and we're looking at 67 hours of integration time. Scores, please, team. This image has scored 88, a very solid silver award. I think we'll accept that score and we'll get a comment on this one. Rogelio, could I ask you to speak about this one, please?
Sure. Okay. So I really love these narrowband images, even though I really don't do narrowband, the electric filling, you get all these super tight stars. I saw good color in the stars, which sometimes, it's not as easy, when you're combining hydrogen alpha, O3, and so on with RGB. I do think that, for that amount of exposure, and I know this is really faint data, I might have wanted a little bit more signal on it. But I think the balance is perfect. So, I'm not sure whether I want to see a little bit more or not, but maybe with that, with the 67 hours of exposure, a little bit more detail on the fainter areas may have been nice. But overall, it's a spectacular image.
Thank you so much, Rogelio. Well done to the entrant. Score of 88 is fantastic. Could we go to the next image, please? So we're looking at BHR 160. It's taken from the Tivoli Southern Sky guest farm in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200 Pro and an ASA 16-inch RC. We're looking at 12 hours and 45 minutes of integration time. Scores, please, team. Okay, this image has scored 88. Very solid silver award. We have a very close scoring range on this one. Would anybody like to challenge that, or are we happy with that score? Any of the higher scoring judges? Are we comfortable? Okay, we'll accept that score. Let's have some feedback on this image though. Wolfgang, could you talk to the image, please?
Well, it's a great image of a not very well-known object. Actually, I didn't even know that object. Yeah, so that choice is brilliant. The colors are great. Star colors are great. It could benefit from a little bit more signal, as those dark nebulas and things are very faint, and yeah, but otherwise, great image.
Thanks so much, Wolfgang. Could we have the next image, please? Okay, the goal here was to bring out the knots in as much detail as possible using H alpha to go deeper than has been seen previously. This image was taken from Obstec El Source Observatory in Chile on an Attic APX 60 camera, a Planewave L60 telescope, and CDK17 with chroma filters. Thank you to our sponsor Chroma for coming on board with this category as well. We're looking at 44 hours of integration time. Also acknowledge Attic, who through QSI sponsored the solar system category. Scores coming in thick and fast now. This image scores a very solid 90. It's a gold award. However, we have some strong support for this image from one particular judge.
That'd be me, yeah?
I'm guessing you'd like to challenge that one, Mike?
I think for me, this image speaks pretty close to perfection. And the reason I say that is because I can't find anything about it that looks unreal. The sharpening is very natural. Colors are natural. Star colors are natural. It's composed beautifully. I love the subtle kind of almost a yellowy tinge that the person has managed to bring out there. I love the mix of colors. I can't see any use of the modern filters. It's what really stands out to me. I don't know what's been used to deconvolve this, so that's excellent. Looks perfectly natural to me. So I think it deserves a little bit higher score.
Thank you, Mike. Bray, you've given this a very good score, but not quite as high as Mike's. Could I ask you to comment on this one, please?
Yeah, for sure. So an object like this with a large focal length telescope right off the bat, I can say is very difficult. So they've done an incredible job with all of the detail in that regard, especially with the convolution. It all is incredibly natural. The only thing I think could be improved in this image is the black point in some of these regions seems to have a bit of a green color balance to it. And I might prefer that to be a bit more neutral, but that's my only comment on this image that would cause my score to go down.
Thanks so much, Bray. Tanya, you're right on the average with your score, and I'm curious to see if you have any insight into what we're actually looking at.
Yes, so this is a beautiful region where new baby stars are being born out of the dark gas, and that the ultraviolet light from these new young stars are ionizing the hydrogen gas, and that's what creates the beautiful red color that we see. And so, in that way, it's a lovely story. I like the drama. I think this image shows a lot of drama, the way that it's been framed. Something that is great about it.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Mike, right of reply, you've got quite a bit of support in the gold range there.
I think the very slight, almost greeny yellowness that is in the dust is actually meant to be there. It's real. That's what the dust does. It actually, with the Rayleigh scattering, it does get that mix. Everyone thinks Rayleigh scattering only causes blue reflection, but it doesn't. It actually causes a very tinge of green. So I think the photographer has actually nailed that aspect.
Well, thanks, Mike. Your score of 95 is locked in. Everyone else is free to rescore this image, and I'll ask you all to do so now, please. This image now scores 91. Very solid gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. Every point counts because the highest scoring image will win the category. Thanks so much, team. Let's move on to the next image. Were you going to sing opera, Mike?
Guardi le stelle.
Okay, the entrance statement. To highlight the vibrant gas distribution and intricate morphological details of the Prawn Nebula and achieve a balanced and natural rendering through careful processing. This image was taken here in Melbourne, Australia, on an ASCAR 107 PHQ telescope with a ZWO ASI 1600 mm Pro camera. We're looking at a total integration time of 37.4 hours. Scores, please, team. Well, this image has scored a gold award at 90. That's fantastic. The scoring is very similar on this one. No one is 5 points away, so we won't call for a challenge on this, but we will definitely call for some feedback and some commentary. I'd like to hear from Wolfgang on this one, please.
Well, yeah, it's a great image, and it's a difficult region. What I really like on that image is that I don't know how to put it. It looks like it's done with I don't know. It reminds me of old Schmidt camera images, you know, from the sharpness that is not overdone. Yeah, from yeah, just beautiful, you know. Actually, I would not know what one could do better on that image. Very beautiful.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang. We'll
Can I
go
say
to the...
something?
Oh, yes, jump in, Mike. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to just add that one of the things I took into account with this image is the equipment used. And we have to look at it's just a 4-inch refractor from Melbourne, Australia. Unbelievable. So I factored that in and think, well, geez, this image is really pretty spot on in all its processing aspects. Beautiful star colors, and I think almost completely hidden the deconvolution. There's a couple of little signs there of perhaps some of that AI deconvolution showing through, but very, very minor. Otherwise, pretty good.
So, judges, if you're all feeling so passionate about this image, I have the power as chair here to call this as a challenge if we want to. Do we want to make this a challenge now?
I mean, why not?
All right, it's now a challenge. Wolfgang, you're locked in at oh wait, hang on a second. Bray, you're the highest scorer. You're locked in at 94. Everyone else is free to rescore this image. Before you do so, would anyone else like to comment on it?
I guess I'll comment as the highest score.
Yep, go ahead, Bray.
I just found that the one thing I love the most with narrowband images is when they have this ethereal sort of glow without coming to the point of clipping. And the O3 details, especially on that left star, just have a great level of like mist and feel to it that just makes me happy to look at. So
Thank
that's
you,
why I scored it
Bray.
so high.
We will lock your score of 94 in and call you the elective challenger, and everyone else is free to rescore this image now. Image is now 91. Very, very solid gold award. Congratulations to the entrant for all the reasons that our wonderful judging team has expressed. Next image, please. Entrance statement, standoff at the border. A badass apparition and a friendly spirit contemplate their strategies to determine the locals' fates. This is a 2-panel mosaic taken from Deep Sky West Remote Observatory near Santa Fe. Thank you, Deep Sky West, who are sponsoring our remote imaging category. This is taken on a Moravian C5A 100M, a Takahashi TOA 130, and chroma filters. Thank you, chroma. The total integration time is 43 hours. Scores, please, team. Thank you, judges. This image, boom, straight away has scored 92, a very, very solid gold award. We have one judge who is 5 points away from that average. Are we happy with that score, or do we want to challenge that? Just looking to see if the highest scoring judge wants to challenge. It's not compulsory. Okay. In that case, we'll take on the score as it is. Thank you, judges. We will have some feedback and some commentary, though. Mr. Sidonio, you're the closest to the average score there.
Okay. This is a fantastic image. The two objects on either side and an object in the middle. It's awesome. I know sometimes in photography, it's not a good idea to have your eye wandering around, but I just enjoy going from one to the other, going, wow, this is awesome. The thing that stood out to me a little bit was that the level of detail is a little bit exaggerated in the bright areas, and then a little bit of extra smoothing perhaps noticeable in the fainter areas. But I can be forgiving of that because overall you want to show everything. But it was a wondrous image to look at. Fantastic.
Thank you, Mike. Congratulations to the entrant. Can we have the next image, please? Okay. Supernova remnant G065.2 suffers from its proximity to the Cygnus loop and its low luminosity, even though it is huge, being a mosaic of 4 tiles. This is taken in Morocco at Ulkemedin Observatory using a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX4. We are looking at 76.5 hours of exposure. Scores, please, team. Thank you, judges. This image has gone straight to gold at 91. Congratulations to the entrant. This scoring is remarkably similar here, so I think we'll accept that score. That said, Bray, could I ask for a comment on this one? Because this is your area of expertise, working with supernova remnants. Could you talk to the image, please?
Yes, this one is a particularly challenging supernova to process, given, like the entrance said, the dense star field is very tough to balance well with the fine filaments, and the added challenge of doing this in a 4-panel mosaic to spread yourself so thin. They've done an incredible job showing the detail, and even these incredibly faint O3 loops that you may notice on the top end of the supernova, those are not often well rendered in many images, but they've done an amazing job in showing them in a way that's not overly noise reduced and well balanced with the background. So I thought it was amazing overall.
Thank you for some excellent feedback there, Bray, and congratulations to the entrant. Let's have the next image, please. The entrant statement. We're looking at NGC 253, also known as the Silver Coin Galaxy. This is taken from Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200 camera with an ASA 16-inch RC telescope. Total integration time, 6 hours and 48 minutes. You may score this image when you're ready. And the image has scored 88. Very, very solid, high silver award. Congratulations to the entrant. We all comfortable with that? Okay, let's get some feedback on this one. Haven't heard from Wolfgang for a short time. Wolfgang, could I ask you to talk to the image, please?
I'm still here, still here.
It is 1 o'clock in the morning where you are. You're still with us? It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning now.
Technically, this is a great image. What I like about it, and that is special, something I really like when I look at images. There's not too much noise reduction. It's so natural. When you can see how the background goes, the transition from the background to the galaxy. This is very, very natural. It could be a little more snappy from the colors. That's probably a personal preference. Yeah, just a little more snap. Otherwise, very good image. Very good image.
Thank you so much. Let's move to the next image. Congratulations to the entrant. Okay, the statement, the Milky Way's center and surroundings. We are looking at a 12-panel mosaic taken from Waterberg Estate in South Africa on a Nikon D600 modified camera with a Sigma Art 40mm lens. Total integration time is 14.7 hours. I'd like to thank everybody out there in live stream and all the entrants for supplying such beautiful, high-quality images for the judges to peruse and assess. And this one's no exception because it's scored 90. Solid gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. Bray, could we ask you to talk to this image, please?
Certainly. This is a really incredible wide field Milky Way. Especially with the wide angle camera lens, it's very difficult to balance gradients, details, and this person has done just an incredible job making a seamless, natural mosaic showing, especially this faint dust in the top right and the far left of the image. You hardly ever see this in a wide field Milky Way image, and it's just delightful to see here.
Congratulations to the entrant. Next image, please. So here is a mosaic of the large field in Monoceros, allowing you to situate many well-known objects in relation to one another. This is taken from Ulka Maiden Observatory in Morocco on a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX4. Total integration time is 62 hours and 12 minutes. Once again, for the benefit of those in live stream, judges have all of this technical information at their fingertips, and they have the facility to click and zoom at 100% to pixel peep and see all the fine details in all of these images. So they're assessing them as professionally and beautifully as they can. Just waiting on one score to come in. Sorry, Tanya.
Oh, good.
This image has scored 93. Very, very solid gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. All judges are almost identical with their scoring in this instance. of this fantastic image. Tanya, could I ask you to talk to this image, please?
Yes, so it took me a while to score because I was just getting lost in the image itself. Love that contrast of all the red glow from the hydrogen gas, and then you've got on the right hand side, you've got more the blue, which is light reflecting off dust. And then as you zoom into the image, seeing all the dust lanes, it's really beautiful, beautifully captured this amazing region where stars are being born.
Fantastic. Take a deep breath, folks. We'll go to our next image, please. Thank you, Tanya. Entrance statement. My goal was to balance the composition with the bright stars and show the galaxy seeming to float through the frame. This is taken at Obstec El Source Observatory in Chile on an Attic APX 60 camera, plane wave CDK, and total integration time is 30 hours. Scores, please, team, at your convenience. This image has scored a very, very solid gold at 92. Judges are all very close with their scoring in this one. Very, very close. In fact, there's no one that's more than 5 points away from the announced average. So, I wonder though if I should take on a chairman's challenge here, because we've got a judge at 96 and 2 at 94. So I think I might use my superpowers here and call on a challenge. Wolfgang, you're the highest. Could I ask you to talk to this image, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. To me, it's as good as it can get. You know, it's the framing is great. I need to pull up that image again. I looked at it for a while now. Yeah, and I love the composition. The stars are beautiful. It's a difficult galaxy to image. You know the feeling when you look at it. It's just awesome image. Yeah. On the left side to the main galaxy, yeah, you have all those small galaxies, and I love it.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang.
Bray,
hang on a sec,
sorry.
Mike. I'm going to call on Bray to speak next. Bray has scored this very high, but not quite as high as Wolfgang. Bray, could you talk to the image, please?
Definitely. Like Wolfgang said, it's definitely a challenging galaxy. I particularly like the composition. It definitely feels like it's floating through the frame. The only things I would have loved to see in this image are perhaps a bit more contrast in the background to bring the galaxy into a more of an isolated view. But again, this is just personal preference. And maybe some degree of color noise reduction on the stars felt a little much for me. But apart from that, the detail within the galaxy itself is really spectacular and everywhere else in the image.
Thanks so much, Bray. Mike, over to you.
I concur with all the things that have been said so far. The thing that makes this stand out, this image, is that you cannot see processing. I love that. So particularly looking at the deconvolution and the sharpening, perfectly natural. I can't see how it was done. To me, that's extremely important. And I think this photographer has really nailed that aspect. Apart from all the other things that have already been said. And the fact that it looks like it's floating through space is fantastic. Yeah, really, really good.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you all, judges. Wolfgang, did you have anything else to add?
Well, no. I think everything is said. You know, I agree with everything that the other judges said. So, yeah.
Thank you, Wolfgang.
Great image.
I'm gonna lock your score in at 96, and I'm gonna ask the other judges to rescore based on whatever what their interpretation is of what they've heard.
Mm.
The image remains at 93, but we had a good chat about it, which is great for the education of everybody out there. Thank you so much, team. Next image, please. Okay. Looking at NGC 7293, aka the Helix. taken from the Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia. ZWO ASI 6200 Pro, ASA 16-inch RC. Total integration time is 26 hours and 15 minutes. Image has scored 90, a gold award. Congratulations. All the scoring is remarkably similar here. So I'm going to ask Dr. Tanya Hill, what are we looking at?
Oh, what are we looking at? We're looking at the fate of our sun, actually. So a planetary nebula, it's a misnomer of a name. The name comes from the fact that early observations of these objects through telescopes, they were disk-like, so they looked like planets. But it's actually what happens when a middle average-sized star dies at the end of its life. It's puffed out its outer layers. The inner core of the star is shrunk down to become a white dwarf, and that's setting off a whole lot of light, which is now shining off those outer layers, creating that ring effect. And the Helix Nebula is a very famous one because we're really looking right down the barrel of that puffing of gas so that you can see almost a perfect ring. And I also, just the opportunity to be able to zoom really into these images, and not only seeing the planetary nebula, but all the little galaxies that are hidden in the frame as well. It's a superb image.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I guess in some ways, perhaps we could all want to expire the way that this one has and have a gentle, slow death rather than a big bang. Could we go to the next image, please? Entrance statement is Penguin ad Astra, Barnard 175, BDB 152. Location is the EI Personal Observatory in Extremadura in Spain. Equipment used is an ASI 2600mm camera, a ONTC 250mm f3.8 Newtonian telescope, Barda filters, total integration time of 32 hours and 5 minutes. May I have your scores, please, judges? In case anyone out there in livestream land is concerned about the speed at which the judges can score these, the judges have had the opportunity to preview these images already at full resolution. Feel free to have a chat in the chat amongst yourselves if you're out there in livestream land. And remember, we've got a keynote speech coming up from Wolfgang Promper shortly, and there'll be a giveaway of a Astrography voucher of $100 for the best question for Wolfgang. So pop that in the chat when you can. Just missing one score here. Rogelio, there it is. Thank you so much. This image has scored a very solid silver award at 88. And we will accept that score. And we'll call on, let's see now, call on Bray Falls. Bray, you're closest to the average with your score. Could you talk to the image, please?
Sure. So this subject one is a very beautiful one. There are lots of really faint HA filaments that are throughout the image. They're beautifully processed. The planetary nebula is very natural, and the reflection is quite bright but not clipped, so that's exactly what you want to see. Overall, I think it's a really balanced image. The stars may be a bit overpowering for my personal taste, but I think overall it's a beautiful region. Beautiful
So Bray,
photo.
just for the benefit of the audience, when you say the stars are a bit overpowering, do you mean the color of the stars is a bit oversaturated, or what are you thinking there?
I would say perhaps the total brightness and the sizes.
Thank you so much. Next image, please. Okay, this is NGC 5139, aka Omega Centauri, taken from the Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200mm Pro camera and an ASA 16-inch RC telescope. 2 hours and 30 minutes of exposure. Scores have come in. We are looking at a solid silver award at 87. Congratulations to the entrant. Tanya, I'm going to throw to you again, if that's all right. I'd like to hear from you, and perhaps you could share a little bit about what we're looking at there.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, this is one of the ancient, it's a globular cluster, an ancient star cluster. There are about 150 globular clusters orbiting around our Milky Way galaxy, and this is one of the best. And I love it too because it's one that you can only really see from the southern hemisphere. So it's kind of a great cluster for our part of the world. And so we're looking at, something that's about 10, 12 billion years old. And the image itself, this is beautiful. You can resolve all those stars, millions of stars in there. Can you imagine living in this cluster? Our sky would be about 100 times brighter than the sky that we experience. So yeah, I feel like it's an image you can just dive right into it. And really great job by the photographer.
Extraordinary. Thank you so much for those insights, Tanya. Could we go to the next image, please? Folks, we're looking at the heart of the Orion Nebula in natural LRGB. It's taken from the remote observatory at EI Extremadura in Spain using a Stellarvue SVX 180T telescope. Thank you, Stellarvue, our major sponsor for the grand prize winner. And we're looking at 10 hours of exposure and 18 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's get the scores in. This image scores an average of 90. Sorry, and by majority, a 90. We have 3 judges in the gold. So this image scores 90. Congratulations to the entrant. Scoring is remarkably similar on this one. And being a little bit close to home, I think I'd like to hear from Mike Sidonio on this one. Mike, could you talk to the image and pass a comment on for the entrant, please?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, a little bit of a sympathy for the judges. It's like telling people which is your favourite child and the best bits about your own children. They're all so good. They're all so beautiful. It's really, really difficult. So I just caveat. That was a little caveat before I start. So many good things about this image. It's really, really amazing. I love the pastel colours. I think there's plenty of detail. It's interesting framing. I noticed in the trapezium, it looks like there should be a couple of more stars in there, or maybe a little bit more resolution compared to perhaps what the resolution is showing in the rest of the image. And I can just see a little bit of the AI deconvolution coming through in a couple of places, but it's really quite an amazing image. It's very nice. Congratulations to the imager.
Thanks so much for your insights there, Mike. And let's go to the next image, please. We are looking at dark arches in the Perseus molecular cloud, LDN 1448, taken from EI Personal Observatory Extremadura in Spain on the ASI 2600mm camera, the ONTC 250mm f3.8 Newtonian telescope using Barda filters, 23 hours of integration time. Thank you, judges. Just one more score to come in. There it is. This image has scored 89. Very high silver award. It's in fact as high a silver award as you can get. Should we accept that score, Tanya, or do we talk about it?
I'm happy to talk about it.
All right, let's use the elective challenge opportunity to discuss the image. The reason we're doing this is because your scores are all so close, but we're kind of sitting on the fence. So we want to kind of establish whether or not this is a gold or if it's going to remain as a high silver. Please go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I rated this quite highly. I love, so we're looking at these dark molecular clouds, so regions that are very, very dense, blocking out the background stars and where new stars are probably forming within. I just feel the wispiness and the color balance to me is a really lovely to look at. And yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Tanya. Bray, your score is very high, but not quite as high as some of the others. What would you think about this image, please?
So overall, it's a lovely image. The signal in the dark nebula, which is very hard to show and render in this detail, is great. The only thing that I had to say to lower the score is perhaps the stars have a bit of bite in their brightness, but other than that, the colors are beautiful, and the detail is amazing.
Thank you so much, Bray. Mr. Sidonio, you're in the gold range. Let's hear from you, please.
Yeah, I think, well, for me, the brightness of the stars is what makes the image really good. Stars are bright, they should be. But what makes it stand out is, it's again, the level of the equipment that's been used, fairly modest equipment. I can't see how it was not processed. For me, that's really important. If I look at an image and I can tell where the processing is and what was used and how it was done to some degree, then, yeah, that's not overly good. This one here, they haven't done anything over the top, haven't over sharpened it, haven't over smoothed it. It's a fantastic example of natural, accurate image processing. So for me, I think it's pretty good in that respect.
Thank you so much, Mike. Tanya, you have right of reply.
I was just going to say, I agree with Mike. I like the contrast of the stars being so bright. Really then draws out the darkness and the depths of those molecular clouds. So, yeah,
thank you, judges. Currently, this image is scoring 89. I'm going to lock Tanya's score of 93 in, and I'm going to ask you all to rescore, please. Image now scores 91. It gets its gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. Very good. Next image, please. Here's a less conventional version of this well-known nebula, shown here in a dust bath. The luminance has enabled me to highlight them. Taken from Uqumiden Observatory in Morocco on a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX4. Total integration time, 37 hours and 40 minutes. Scores, please, team. This image has scored gold, 91. Congratulations to the entrant. We've got lots of gold there on that image. What do you think, Bray? Should we see what could happen with this image if we took on a challenge? Or are we happy with that score?
I'm happy to do a challenge with this one.
Okay, let's take it on. Your score is 95. Could I ask you to speak to the image, please?
Yeah, so for me, this is probably one of the best California nebulas I've ever seen. The balance of the colors from the deep red to the soft yellows, while having a ton of local contrast and not being clipped, is very difficult to do. As well, the O3 details, which aren't commonly shown in this nebula, this O3 around Pi Persei is super, super faint. So it's not typical to show this much structure in it. And along with that, the dark dust in the background is also very uncommon to show. So it just, for me, is a unique view of the nebula in total. And basically all the elements of the image are really well balanced from my point of view.
Fantastic. Thank you for that feedback, Bray. Rogelio, are you with us, or you just dropped out of the live stream picture? Are you still there, sir? I'll come back to you in that case. I'd like to hear from, let me see now. Let's hear from Mr. Promper. Wolfgang.
Well, yeah, I'm just looking at it in the highest resolution. I agree to Bray. I mean, I've I've imaged in the northern hemisphere a lot, yeah, before I went to the southern hemisphere. I've never seen the California nebula like that. What I really love about it, one thing, it's a kind of different view, still being natural. Uh, and you have all that dust and you have the galaxies. If you look at the upper left side of the image, pretty spectacular to me.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang. Rogelio, I was going to call on you a little earlier. We had an internet dropout there. Could I ask you to talk to the image, please?
Okay, so California Nebula. I like the work that the photographer's done here. Sharpness seems good. Color seems a little off the mark for my personal taste. I tend to like more the deep red and the salmon red on anything that's hydrogen alpha. Other than that, it's spectacular. There's not many images of the California Nebula that I've seen like this. So great job.
Thank you so much. Bray, back to you for your right of reply.
I would say color, personal preference. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, so I totally, can agree with Rogelio's viewpoint from there. But for me, this is my color preference. So
fair enough.
I had to step out for a moment, so I had no idea what Bray said. So he was replying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I heard is right. This is, I mean, the colors are lovely, so it's really more of a personal preference here.
Excellent. Judges, I'm going to lock in Bray's score of 95, and I'm going to ask you all to rescore this image, please. This image scores 92. Remains on 92, but we had a good chance to chat about it, which is what this is all about. It's all about education, folks. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next image, please. The information is this image was intended as a backup in case my main Astro landscape work didn't go as planned that night. The location is Roque de los Muchachos in La Palma, taken with the Sony A7 AII and a Sigma 65mm lens, looking at 2 hours of exposure. It's a mosaic, 15 minutes per panel. As I trip over my words. This image scores 89. Very, very solid silver award. We've got a couple of judges in the 90s and some very, very high 80s. So I think we should perhaps sort this one out because we have no sort of reviews or anything like that to deal with afterwards. So rather than sit on the fence, I'm going to use my superpowers here and call an elective challenge. Rogelio, you're the highest scorer. So I'm going to lock your score in if that's all right and ask you to comment on the image, please.
Sure. So, well, we start with the fact that this is been done with the lens. So, yeah, here we don't get the resolution that I would love to see in a view like this. So, for me, that would be like the only thing that I wish it was a little better. Other than that, I like the composition. I talked before about the deep red on hydrogen alpha clouds. I see it on top. I don't see it that much at the bottom. There'll be another area of improvement maybe if we wanted to take that image over there. But I do love the composition where everything is kind of, everything is in place. There's nothing really off. And I love it when people put some thought into how they're framing or they're photographing, which we've seen some great examples of that here. So I guess that would be my commentary about this image.
Thank you so much, Rogelio. Wolfgang's given it a very high score, but not quite into the gold range. Wolfgang, could I ask you to comment on this one, please?
Well, basically, images like that, yeah, this is not my expertise. Yeah, I can just go after the impact it has on me. It's a great framing. It's a different view of a very well-known area where you normally pick out objects like here M16, M8, and whatever, you know. I think it's a striking overview of that region. Um, sure, I agree with Rogelio on what he said on the hydrogen color, which is quite different in the Milky Way here than the top. But otherwise, you know, the framing and the impact is great.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sidonio, Mike, you're in favour of this image with your score of 90.
Yeah.
Could I ask you to comment, please?
Oh, I think it just has so much nostalgia. Having done this game for so many years at all different focal lengths and taking photographs of the Milky Way back in 1984 in black and white, when I see images like this, it still blows me away. So the photographer's probably got a slight advantage there. We've got to remember it's also just taken with a camera lens, a 65mm f2, and it's only 15-minute exposures per panel. So it's really, in this current age of thousands of hours of photograph of data that people collect, it's quite impressive that you could put together a mosaic as good as this and so much impact. Perhaps the saturation is just a tiny bit up. I think the red hydrogen clouds are pretty good. They should perhaps be just slightly more magenta, but really awesome image.
Thank you so much, Mike. Rogelio, have you anything to add to the debate?
No, I feel that everybody more or less pretty much on the same boat as I am, which is, then, it kicks, the personal thing, where, you may go a little bit up or down, but I think we all understand the image and the challenges that came into taking it. A little oversaturation. Oh God, you know what? I have a whole article about saturation that basically says it's just a slider. You don't go wrong. It's your personal taste.
You're enough too. Thanks, Rogelio. Judges, I'm locking in Rogelio's score at 92, and if the rest of you are free to rescore this image. Image now scores 90. Gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. Woo! Sorry. Next
Always
image,
good.
please. Yes, I'll just clap in the background.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Messier 20, aka the famous Trifid Nebula, taken from the Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200mm Pro camera with an ASA 16-inch RC. Looking at 6 hours and 45 minutes integration time. Scores are coming in thick and fast now. Should mention we had almost 300 entries into this deep space category, and these are the top 26 that we're assessing now. This image has scored 89. Very, very solid and very high. In fact, as high a silver award as you can get. I wonder if we should just accept that or talk about it. What do you think, Mike?
I must be up there, am I?
You are. You're at 93. They've got some 89s and a 92. So I think we should sort it out because it's just sitting on 89. So can we lock your score in, and can you talk to the image, please?
Okay, so this was an interesting one when I was looking at them at high resolution in my own leisure yesterday. Before you enlarge it, you think, a Trifid Nebula, excellent. It looks pretty standard. Then you enlarge it, and then you enlarge it again. You go, wow, this is amazing. Again, I can't see the processing. Perfect for me. It's natural. I feel like it's a nebula. I feel like that's what I'm looking at. It's not overdone. Yes, in this day and age, there's been some fantastic Trifid nebulas done. They're quite deep, a bit deeper than this. But when I zoom around the image, it's believable. It sings to me in that respect because it's very natural, simple. Everything's done right. I can't fault it in terms of technical. Can't see that deconvolution. It's really important to me. It's fantastic. It's in there, but it's hidden. It's beautiful. It just brings the detail out. Exactly what you should do.
Thanks so much, Mike. Rogelio, you've given it a good score, but a little lower than Mike's. Could I ask for your comments, please?
Sure. Okay. So yeah, it's an excellent rendition of the Trifid Nebula. The only reason I didn't go for the gold on this image is because, well, we're having excellent skies, a 16-inch RC, and a 3-foot nebula that is very well captured, but I just don't see like a competition prize winner here. I'm kind of seeing this already. So I don't want to put down the image in that way because I don't even know if I would be able to do that myself. But I guess that's why I went down a little bit. It's not really offering me anything new, classic framing and so on. So the capture is great, the resolution is great, the colors look great. It's just missing that thing that makes it, a real winner, a gold to me.
Thank you so much. Tanya, you're right on the cusp with your score. Not only would I like to hear from you, I'd also like to perhaps ask you, why is it called the Trifid Nebula?
Oh, actually, you've caught me on that one. I'm not sure. Mike probably knows. I know this is a nebula that's
it's the dust
Trifid
lanes.
3. Is it something in 3 dust lanes?
No, it's the dust lane. So visually, when you look through a telescope, it was first observed ever long ago in a telescope, probably 120 years, 130, something more. Yeah, you can see the dust lanes, and to the naked eye through a telescope, it looks like just 3 dust lanes. So it appears to be dividing that bright red nebula into 3 visually through a telescope.
I apologize for putting you on the spot there, Tanya. Could I ask for your comments on the image, though, please?
Yes, I think I sided more with Rogelio. It's a beautiful image and very, very well done. I do like the color balance between the pink regions and the blue reflection, and the stars look incredible when you zoom into the image. So yeah, great image. But we're just seeing so many amazing images this morning. It's very hard to try and work out how we're going to decide between them.
Well, it all comes down to the numbers at the end. And Mike, you have a chance to bring this one home with your right of reply, sir.
Yeah, I think some great comments there. Rogelio, I think your comments are spot on as well. Sometimes some aspect of an image just jumps out and grabs you. And I think it was the believability, the naturalness of this that grabbed me. And when I zoom in and I can't see how an image has been processed, I love that. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, when you zoom in, it's amazing. I mean, I can spend maybe not hours, but a good amount of time looking all over. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Thank you, judges. Mike, you're locked in. I'll ask everyone else to rescore this image, please. Image remains at 89, but we had a good chat about it.
We did.
Congratulations to the entrant for a very solid, very high silver award. Next image, please. We are looking at Bode's nebulas with IFN and ERE. The location is Deep Sky West Remote Observatory near Santa Fe. Taken on a Moravian C3 6100 Pro, Takahashi FSQ 106, total integration time 46 hours and 57 minutes. Scores, please, team. This image scores 91. Very solid gold award straight away. Boom, just like that. That said, we've got a much higher score in there. Do you want to take that one on, or are you happy with where it is? It's
how much higher?
There's a 97.
Is that's yep? So that is me.
That's you. Yes, please.
Yeah. Look, I'm happy to look. Let's challenge it. I definitely want to talk about this image because it blows me away. A beautiful image to look at, but then when you know what's going on here, so we've got the lovely spiral galaxies there, M81 at the top and M82 below. That's a starburst galaxy, so those kind of red protrusions coming out of it are all due to this incredible immense star formation that's going on in that galaxy, and that's been captured brilliantly, I feel. And then this kind of hazy, it looks almost like scribble over the image, which is something that astronomers have ignored for so long. It's kind of the dust that we wish wasn't there so that we could see the universe more clearly. But to have actually imaged this dust, it's now recognized as a very, very faint nebula. And the dust is actually glowing or lit up by the glow of our entire Milky Way galaxy. Normally, when we see nebula, it's the dust is lit up by the stars cocooned inside it, whereas this region of sky is quite above the plane of our Milky Way galaxy. So, in fact, it's not just individual stars lighting up that messy dust, it's the glow of the Milky Way. So to have been able to draw that out, a phenomenon we've only really known in the last couple of decades, and also have the galaxies looking so beautiful, that's why I rated this image so highly.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Bray, could I call on you to comment on this one, please?
Definitely. This is a really lovely image. For one reason, the composition is great. There is actually a very interesting nebula on the left there. That sort of red crescent shape is actually a strange type of planetary nebula called WPS 46. So they've shown a really unique object. There's a ton of detail in the background dust. For me, I think there is a bit too much crunch in the IFN and some amount of evidence of AI in either the detail or the noise reduction. And I would probably also reduce the stars a bit more in both their brightness and for some of their chromatic aberrations. But other than that, there's, a lot of lovely details in this photo.
Thank you, Bray. Excellent feedback. Wolfgang, your score is bang on the average.
Okay. Well, at first it's something I must admit in that way I've never seen it before. Yeah. It's the impact of the image and the dimensionality is fantastic. When you look how M81 and M82 are floating there, and all the other galaxies, it's a little bit stretched too much for. I mean, it could benefit, in my opinion, when it would be a little bit darker. Yeah, it's that would still show enough from that, and that's probably what Bray meant when he said it has too much crunch. Yeah, but I understand the intention was to show all that integrated flux nebula, and yeah, other than that, pretty amazing. Yeah, unique.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang. Tanya, back to you for your right of reply if you have anything more to contribute.
No, although I do appreciate also knowing, I come at this from sort of the science that the images are showing. I really appreciate also learning about the methods and the photography that it's involved as well. So thanks.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm going to lock your score of 97 in, and I'll ask the rest of the judges to rescore, please. Image remains at 91, but now everybody knows what integrated flux nebula is all about. Thank you so much. Great image, congratulations. Next image, please. Entrance statement, G119.5 plus 10.2 is a supernova remnant that is seen less often than others, but has enormous potential thanks to the density of its filaments and surrounding dust. Taken from Ukamaiden Observatory in Morocco on a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX4, a ZWO ASI 2600 mm Pro, Antlia filters. We are looking at 64 hours of integrated data. Scores, please, team. Image scores 92. Bang. Gold award. With some very high scores. In fact, we have a very, very, very high score in there. Bray, are you comfortable with the scoring, or would you like to challenge that?
I'll challenge it. I may acknowledge I have some bias for the supernova remnants. They're my favorite subject matter, and for me, this is probably the best photo of the supernova remnant I've ever seen. It's a perfect contrast balance with all of the different types of gas, the O3 filaments. The HA is perfect. The dust is shown in really lovely contrast. And I think the stars in this image are particularly well edited. If you zoom in closely to the top right corner of the SNR, you can also see there's a small PN called NGC40, which is extremely bright, and rendering this small PN as an HDR image with these super faint filaments is very difficult to do naturally. And I think here it's done perfectly. So for me, it's just a definitive image of the supernova.
Thank you so much, Bray. Wolfgang, your score is a little lower than Bray's. Could I ask you to comment on this one, please?
Okay. I mean, it's a great image of an object that I don't know. To me, it is a little bit too hazy. It's kind of the haze on the filaments. Yeah, I don't know yet. It's something I think that happened in processing. Yeah. And for me, the stars could be a little bit brighter. They kind of dimmed out. Otherwise, yeah, very interesting image.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang. Rogelio, your score is right on the average. Could I ask for your thoughts on this one, please?
Yeah, okay. So I'm on board with everything Bray said, and I gather that he knows this object better than me. It's definitely the best picture that I've seen of these. I'm very intrigued by how the narrowband and broadband data has been combined, because we see all these super bright, electric, wisps, in the blue, in the red, but then we have all that brown in the background, which is kind of blurry. I mean, it's kind of blurry. You could see that, there's been some heavy noise reduction done there in order to show it. So I'm definitely intrigued by that, but the overall composition and how all this data has been blended, I think is spectacular. So yeah, that's why I'm giving it a go.
Thank you so much, Rogelio. Bray, you've had some support there. Right of reply for you, sir.
Yeah, I think the comment on the background dust is an interesting one. I might tend to agree with you, but it's a tough question of how to render this, because there's often the choice of like, do I let this be modeled, or do I take a smooth approach and let the stars kind of fill in that spatial detail? And I think the stars kind of make up for this. If you took the stars away, we might see a bit more of that noise reduction, and I might tend to agree, but I think the stars balance it out well. And regarding the haze, I really enjoy haze for my images. I love the ethereal glow off the bright filaments. I just think it adds a level of emotion to the overall photo.
Thanks so much, Bray. Judges, I'm going to lock Bray's score in of 97, and I'm going to ask the rest of you to rescore this image, please. Image now scores 93. Very, very solid gold. Solid gold. Congratulations to the entrant. Yes, sorry, Mike.
No, that was good. That was good.
Next image, please. All right. We are looking at the first amateur image of light echoes from the 19th century Eta Carina eruption. The image was taken from the Highview Observatory in Auckland, New Zealand. And it was taken with a home-built 12.5-inch f4 Trust-Newtonian, QSI 683 WSG camera, and we're looking at 41 hours, 35 minutes exposure in total. Echoes of Eta Carinae. Judges, this image has scored 91. Very, very solid gold award. And congratulations to the entrant. All judges are very similar with their scoring on this one, so we'll accept that score. I'd like to hear, though, from Tanya. Could you please, for the benefit of the online audience, tell us a little bit more about the light echoes of the Eta Carina eruption?
Yeah, so Eta Carina, it's one of the largest stars in our galaxy. I believe something like 120, 150 times the mass of the sun. And so, in fact, the pressure of its light, the radiation pressure of the light from the star itself, is almost enough to overcome the star's gravity, what normally holds all the gas together. So back in the 1800s, 1840 is coming to mind, there was a eruption where the star became almost brighter than Canopus. It was about the second brightest star in the sky. We know there's numerous records, and so because there was a whole lot of material that was flung off it, and then as that expands out, that's what we're seeing then as the light echo. But I also just think the image itself is amazing, peering into the detail in all the dust layings. Really incredible. And to think this again is being done by incredible amateur astrophotographers that are professional in what they're doing. I'm just in awe.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Congratulations to the entrant on the Gold Award. Could we go to the next image, please? We're looking at IC 1275 and NGC 6559 from the Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia. The image was taken on an ASA 16-inch RC with a ZWO ASI 6200mm Pro camera. Total of almost 20 hours of integration time. Coming up shortly, we'll have a keynote presentation from our judge, Wolfgang Promper, following a short break between proceedings. This image has scored 89. A very, very solid silver award. Judges are all very close with their scoring here. I think we might accept that 89, given the closeness of the scoring range. And let's hear from Wolfgang, whose score is almost spot on with that average. Wolfgang, could you talk to the image, please?
Again, technically brilliant image. And it's a super beautiful region, you know. Beautiful stars. You seem to have great seeing, everything good. I would like to see a little bit more snap in the image, color-wise. Color-wise, I just see when I look at the upper region here, where you have H alpha, which should actually be magenta, and it has a little bit, at least on my screen, a little bit greenish yellow tint. Otherwise, what can you say? Great image.
Thank you so much, Wolfgang. We will accept that score and we'll move to the next image, please. The entrance statement: to capture the intricate details of Galaxy M83, showcasing its core, outer edges, and surrounding galaxies with depth, balance, and clarity in every aspect. Image was taken at Observatorio El Source in Chile on a Planewave CDK-17. Attic APX 60 mono camera, total integration time 18 hours and 45 minutes. Image score is 90. Gold award, boom. And as the scoring is so very close for this one, let's take some commentary, please. Bray Falls, could we hear from you, please, sir?
Yeah, so this is a really, really highly detailed view of M83. All the H alpha regions are really nicely rendered in without being clipped. I really like the contrast. The background is not noisy, and it doesn't seem to me to be overly smooth either. So overall, I think it's just a really nice classic view of M83.
Thank you so much, Bray. We'll accept that score of 90. Congratulations, Gold Award. And could we have the next image, please? The goal here was to use a mosaic to capture this deeply in high resolution. The original resolution is 10721 by 90408 at 0.74 inch scale, reduced here. The image was taken from Obstec El Source Observatory in Chile on a QHY 600 camera, a plane wave L600 and DR350 telescope, chroma filters, with a grand total of 75.3 hours of integration time. One more score to come in. There it is. This image has scored 91. That's a gold award. Congratulations to that entrant. And the scoring is remarkably similar. We had, in fact, every single judge on gold for this image. So, who would like to comment on this one?
I'll go.
Well,
Go on, Mike.
okay.
Everybody.
Mike, you can go first.
Well, I like it because it shows the whole chicken. I love it. No one can see the chicken except me, it appears. The whole chicken's there, just turned 90 degrees to the clockwise. So that's pretty cool. I really like the resolution, the fact that it's a big telescope that's been used because it's got a wide field capability. And I think the photographers really maximised that capability of the telescope. It's beautifully processed. The stars are really nicely handled. They don't look artificially shrunk, even though they're very small. So I really like that. The details is good. They doesn't look overly deconvolved. Overall, pretty good shot. The astrophotographer will be very happy with that, and I'm sure they are.
Thank you so much, Mike. Wolfgang, you wanted to contribute some comment on this image
Yeah, I
as well?
just wanted to say it has such a great appearance, with such a very mystical chicken, and I love the color palette, yeah, which although it's narrow band, yeah, it has a kind of natural, not over contrasty look. Um, and small thing, there's a planetary on the I don't know the name of that planetary now on the upper left side, yeah, which I find amazing. Lovely image, yeah.
Thanks so much, Wolfgang. Judges, that's the last image in the category. Congratulations for getting through that. You've done an exceptional job. Very pleased that the entrants got to hear so much positive and amazing feedback from you all. My gosh, if that was one of my images in there and I was hearing from you, I'd be absolutely chuffed, mind you. I'd be chuffed if I got an image to that high in the competition. So you guys did a fantastic job. Very much like to thank Tanya for coming on board with all the objectivity and the science behind all of what we were looking at. Mike, your passion is extraordinary. Rogelio and Bray, thank you so much for joining us all the way from USA. That was extraordinary having you here to make these insights into these images. Wolfgang, you're probably needing your second double shot latte by now. It's probably 3 a.m. where you are.
Coffee, yes, coffee.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us and your insights, sir. We're looking forward to hearing from you shortly. So I'm going to thank you so much. We will tally up the scores and I'll hand back to Robyn as MC to tell us what's going to happen next.
We now have the honor of announcing our winners for the 2024 Deep Space Photographer of the Year. So this is exciting because we ended up having 3 images all on 93. So when that happens, we then go back to our points. And so I have the honor of announcing 3rd place, the score of 93 and 463 points. Congratulations to Kevin Moorfield. So Kevin wins a voucher valued at 200 USD with Astrography. So Astrography are renowned for blending scientific accuracy with captivating design in space-related print products. Now, Wolfgang, I actually remember you had some great things to say about this image when it was judged. Did you have some memories of that you'd like to share?
Well, yeah, I remember that image because I really love that image. Yeah. It's well, maybe it's just because I like that galaxy so much, yeah, and I think Kevin did a great job in framing. Um, uh, it's beautiful. It has a kind of dynamic, you know. Yeah, I really like that image.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. So in 2nd place, we have an image that also scored 93, but has 465 points. So a few more points. And that image, congratulations to Jan Sainty. Well done, Jan. So Jan receives an astronomy filter set from Chroma Technology. Thank you so much, Chroma Technology. It's a decent filter set valued at just over 1,000 USD. So Chroma Technology manufactures the highest quality broadband, narrowband spectral line filters for detecting ionized sulfur, oxygen, H-alpha, H-beta, and other elements.
I use chroma filters.
Andrew, do you have something you'd like to add to this image? You remember what the judges commented here?
I just remember seeing this extraordinary depth in this image, and I hadn't actually seen the Cone Nebula presented in this way before with its companions. And I think that wide field panoramic view of it is extraordinary. And the judges was thinking the same things.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. And finally, in 1st place with also gold, 93, but with 466 points, we get a drum roll, please, as we announce the winner is Jan Sainty. Congratulations, Jan, with this incredible image. You have won 1st prize, sponsored by Sidereal and CFF Telescopes. You receive a QHY 367C full frame cooled CMOS color camera valued at 4,000 USD. So it's a very decent camera, 36 megapixel, and yeah, wow, extraordinary camera. We hope that you enjoy using that. And you're also in the running to win the overall prize, which is a Stellarvue SVX102T telescope. So good luck with that. Wolfgang, Andrew, do you remember this one being judged?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, congratulations. I mean, it's a great effort. It's an object, I must admit, that I don't even know. Yeah, so I can imagine. I remember it was a enormous amount of exposure time. Quite an effort. Yeah, great.
And the other thing about this image that's extraordinary is it kind of resembles a malevolent serpentine winged creature poised to strike, perhaps like the ancient Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. So pareidolia rules.
Okay, I've never seen it like that, but yeah.
Well, that's a fabulous take on that. And we have a wonderful trophy that is heading your way, Jan. Congratulations. Well done. We'll be announcing the overall winner on Tuesday after our judges have voted on their favourite. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much, Wolfgang. You can go off to bed now.
Okay.
We will look forward to seeing everybody for our 4th and final session in about 7 hours.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, then see you then. Yeah. I wish everybody a nice day.
Thank you very much.
And I
Thanks,
might be heading to bed now. Okay.
Good man.
Thanks, Wolfgang.
Okay,
Take
good.
care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.